From Drop Biscuit Studios and the people who brought you Wondery's Inside Jaws, Inside The Exorcist, and Inside Psycho comes You Talking to Me? Bite-sized Hollywood history with plenty of bite. The Fall of Joss Whedon. This is You Talking to Me? I'm Mark Ramsey. What was Buffy the Vampire Slayer if not a power parable for feminism? Girl power with vampires. And the creator of that now classic TV series, the man responsible for this portrait of strong women, was filmmaker Joss Whedon. As Vulture wrote, according to the prevailing rules of Hollywood horror at the time, Whedon's protagonist, a hot blonde with a dumb name, should have died within the opening scenes, but Whedon had flipped the genre on its head, endowing her with superhuman powers and a hero's journey. Joss Whedon was a celebrity showrunner before anyone knew what a showrunner was. Whedon went on to create Angel, a Buffy spin-off, and the highly respected cult series Firefly. Marvel hired him to write 2012's The Avengers and its sequel, two of the highest-grossing films of all time. He was big, he was huge, he was epic. GQ hailed him as the most inventive pop storyteller of his generation. And then, it all came crashing down. In 2017, his ex-wife published a sensational open letter about him. He was a hypocrite preaching feminist ideals, she said. She claimed he cheated on her throughout their marriage, including with actresses on the set of Buffy. Then in 2020, actors Ray Fisher and Gal Gadot squeezed the vice tighter. They had been mistreated during projects with Whedon, they said. Fisher described his behavior as gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. And then came Charisma Carpenter, Cordelia, on the Buffy series and Angel, its spinoff. Whedon had a history of being casually cruel, she wrote. She became pregnant during one season on Angel, and Whedon called her fat to colleagues and summoned her into his office to ask, as she recalled, if she was going to keep it. She claimed he had mocked her religious beliefs, accused her of sabotaging the show, and fired her a season later once she had given birth. All the joy of new motherhood had been sucked right out, she wrote, and Joss was the vampire. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy herself, and other Buffy stars wrote words in support of Carpenter. Whedon was canceled. He was toxic. Fan clubs changed their names. Friends turned on him. He was out of work. And maybe it was all his fault. A writer for Vulture asked Whedon about his affairs on the set of Buffy. I feel fucking terrible about them, he said. It messes up the power dynamic. But, he added, he had to sleep with them. He was surrounded by beautiful young women, the kind that had ignored him when he was younger, and if he didn't have sex with them, he would always regret it. Okay, Joss. Buffy ended in 2003, but the affairs continued. Affairs with employees, fans, and colleagues. Finally, his wife had had enough, and they split up. In her open letter to fans, she accused him of using feminism as a cover for his infidelities. He always had a lot of female friends, but he told me it was because his mother raised him as a feminist, so he just liked women better, she wrote. She had been deceived for 15 years. I want the people who worship him to know he is human, she concluded. Human indeed. Nobody ever fell from a pedestal into anything but a pit, Whedon later said. Even in the depths of that pit, Hollywood forgives. Whedon recently created The Nevers for HBO Max, and he has several projects in development. Today he is, or has been, in treatment for various psychological ailments and addictions, and he's now married to the artist Heather Horton. He claims he's genuinely committed to the work it takes to heal. I decided to take control of my life, or try, he said. And about Heather, he said, I finally found somebody I found more important than me. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening right now, and please give us a 5-star rating and share this show with your friends. That's You Talking to Me. I'm Mark Ramsey.